This is Judge Margaret McKeown. I'm here in Arusha, Tanzania with Justice Sonia Sotomayor from the United States Supreme Court. Of course, I know you recognize the importance of rule of law, but would you comment on what you see as the relationship between the rule of law and justice?
The definition of justice is an act by a judge that is not based on his or her personal predilections, but by the parameters set in law. And so to me, without the rule of law, you can't ever achieve justice. It is dangerous for anyone to presume that they personally know what the right answer is in any dispute, because both sides come to court believing they're right. Both sides come to court seeking vindication by the court for their position. Every time a court announces that someone's position is right or recognized under the law, that winner creates by definition the other side who is a loser. And unless you understand that what we promise is a fair process, a process governed by the rule of law, then you're never going to be able to convince those individuals that they in fact have been given justice. They've been given a fair hearing with the process that law provides, and they've been given a determination based on the law.
What you're talking about is really confidence in the judicial system.
Absolutely.
And the term judicial independence is bandied about often. But what do you think, in your view, are the challenges to judicial independence?
What a fascinating question. There are so many. All right. We can start with the most important. The loss of confidence by the public in the actual independence of the judiciary. Some of that is created because the public actually doesn't understand what an independent judiciary means. For most of the people in the public, what they understand is the outcome of a particular case. And if they don't like the outcome, they blame the judge. Not understanding that the outcome is controlled not by the judge, but by the selection the people have made in their legislative process. But that loss of confidence that we're experiencing around the world, with leaders questioning the work of the judiciary, with the public dissatisfaction with some of the work of courts, that I think is the first challenge to judicial independence, but more importantly, to the sense of a judiciary that is doing the work of the public.
You spoke earlier about the public confidence in the judiciary and for the citizens to know that they will get a fair and impartial judgment. Win or lose, the judgment will come from an impartial judiciary. What is the role of ethics, which is fundamental to judicial independence, in both that public confidence and in also strengthening judicial independence?
There are two types of ethics. There's the written ethics, and many, many nations, including the United States, have written laws that govern the situations in which judges should not act. In the United States, for example, if you have a personal interest in a case, you should not hear that case. In the United States, if you have a financial interest, even if it's one share of a stock in a corporation, you're not supposed to hear that case. Those are the written laws. The unwritten laws are the internal integrity of the judge to understand their obligation to perform their work with the highest degree of professionalism and integrity. You have to ensure that when you render decisions, you render them with clarity, so that the simplest citizen can read your decision and understand not only what your judgment was, what conclusion you came to, but the why. You have to be persuasive in convincing the public that there was a basis in law for what you have done, and that it was not a basis either in politics or in self-whim, but one in which you've actually thought through the problems of both sides and used the law to explain why a particular result is the right one. Ethics also are the understanding that we serve the public, because that is what law is ultimately about. It's serving the relationship between people. People come to lawyers and judges with problems, and they're asking us to help them resolve those problems. To me, that's the highest degree of service that we can do. But that requires understanding that this is not a job, it's not a profession, it's not a career. It is an avocation, a passion about serving people and serving our community.